Welcome back, chemistry fans. Today, what we're going to try and accomplish is somewhat of a partial pressure, but it's an indirect partial pressure. It's more of like a vapor pressure type of activity. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to measure the pressure at different temperatures, and then we're going to change it by adding some actual different gases into it. But gases are generally harder to come by, so we're going to create them using vapor materials that are highly volatile. Okay, so let me share my screen and we will get into it. I don't know what that is there. So I'm sharing I don't even need to share my screen. So stop the sharing. What I need to do is just turn my camera around is what I meant to say. So let's do this. Okay, so what you are seeing right now is some of the apparatus that we are going to utilize. So I've got a beaker and I've got a temperature probe set into here, and I've got my thermometer set into the LabQuest so that we can read that. And I'll turn the camera around so that we'll be able to see that here in a second. And then we also have plugged into it a hose into this multiple unit type of apparatus here. And so hopefully you can see that there are two holes in here that we're going to be utilizing. One of them has this syringe that's attached to it, which will deliver a volatile liquid, meaning it can turn into a gas. And then the second one has a hose, which is attached to the gas pressure sensor, which is right over here. And there it is right there, the gas pressure sensor. Okay, and so all of that is reading over here onto the dial. And let me turn this upside down so now you can actually read it. So what you're seeing is that the gas pressure is right now atmospheric, and that's what we would hopefully expect to see. So I'm going to change the water so that it now is reading some temperature that's not warm. I had it up on the heater as a practice run. So I'm going to try it now with just regular old temperatured water. And so I put my thermometer in. And you'll notice I'm in there. And now I can read my temperature, and it's more of a moderate 25 degrees. That's closer to a room temperature, but we're still at atmospheric conditions. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up just a little bit, and we are going to put in the flask into the water. Ooh, let's try this. We got to do it right side up. And then I'll turn this around so that you can read it at the same time as what I've got going on here. So everything is set up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to heat up our apparatus here. We're going to set it onto the hot plate and let it start cooking a little bit. And so I've got it up here now on low. And so we record our first data point. And so that data point was over there. I think you can now see it in the corner. It says it's at 99.3. So I'm going to write these down. So my pressure right now is at 99.4, and it was at 26 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that escalate up 10 degrees up to 36 and then 46. So I'm going to get it at 3 different temperatures, and we're going to see what happens to the pressure at each one of those temperatures. So I'm just going to go ahead and push pause on the camera, and I'll turn it back on whenever we get close to that actual temperature so that we know where we're at. All right, so we are now at 36 degrees and 103. So what you have to do at this point is make sure that your hand is on top so that you are holding the pressure in, because the gas pressure is starting to build, and it's going to be enough that it will force that cork open. So as we are looking at this, I want you to make certain that you are, or as you are collecting your data, make sure that you are also keeping the pressure intact in there, because as soon as you let go, the gas is going to try and escape, and all of the pressure that you've built up will be gone. And we need to get this up to 46 next. So we'll be right back with that data. Okay, so we're getting close. You can see my temperature is now at 43. So we're going to stop it when we hit to 46. We'll read our pressure once we get there. So our temperature seems to be going up ever so slightly. It seems to stop for whatever reason. I don't know why. Going down. Now we're back heading up. I don't know what that blip was about. 43. There it goes. 44. And at 46, it's 112.8. Actually, it's a little higher now. It's 113.1. Okay, so that takes care of this value and this part of the story. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the apparatus from the heat. And as soon as I do, as soon as I remove my finger from it, it popped and it allowed all of that gas to escape. Okay, so now we are going to start over where we were. And so this time I'm going to get fresh water under here so that I can get, again, a 24-degree heated, a 24-degree apparatus. So I'm going to have to let my glassware cool off just a bit. So I'll run some water under it. I'll fill it right back up with 100 milliliters. And here we are. I'm going to replace it so that we don't have to worry about the time it takes for it to cool off on this video. So I've got my second apparatus. And again, I'm going to put the thermometer into the water, and we're going to see what our temperature is here. And what you will notice then is that it is a nice, comfortable 25 degrees again, roughly. All right, so we're going to have to get that down to 26 degrees. So I'm guessing one of these is too hot. I'm guessing this glassware is too hot. So let me see if I can cool it down to 26 a little bit. There she is. Okay, now we're at 26, 27, close enough. Okay, so what we're going to do next, though, is we are going to now collect some ethanol. So I've got ethanol in a little container here. And what we're going to do with it is we are going to transfer about 10 milliliters into a beaker. And then we're going to suck up into that syringe, and then we're going to inject that into the apparatus. Okay, so here we go with this task. So I've got my ethanol, which is highly flammable. Don't want to expose the vapors too long out there. I am going to suck up one or two of these, two of those containers, transferred it in there. Okay, now I'm going to seal up my ethanol so I don't spill it, so I don't let it get anywhere. And then I am going to take my syringe and I'm going to place it into this beaker and I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to suck up as much as I can of the ethanol. Now I have collected just a little bit of air, so I'm going to get rid of that air. And now what I got to do is I got to make sure that I have 3 milliliters. So I have to measure on here and squirt this out until it hits the 3 line. That 3 line, it's pretty close right now, what I've got in here, but it looks like I've got a bubble. So I'm going to squirt out just a little bit, and I should be then right there on the line with 3 milliliters. Okay, so we're good. So now I have a syringe that I can attach back to my cork system here, which will allow me then to inject this straight into the flask. And so we know that we don't have anything vapor-wise escaping. So I've got this all set up, and we're going to do the exact same procedure that we did before. This time, we take the temperature, 26 degrees. Pressure is the exact same. We're going to now turn the valve. So here's where it gets interesting. There is a valve on here, this blue. It is closed right now. Turn it straight up and down and inject the liquid into the flask. And you can see it just being added in there. So now, as soon as it starts to hit that hot water, it is going to start vaporizing, and that's going to change our pressure, we hope. So here is my readings again. Let's see if we can get some nice similar readings to what we had before. I'm going to try and incorporate all of this into the image. So I've got my apparatus over here on the side, and there is my data that you can see now. And of course, as soon as I did it and I wasn't holding it on, it popped. So gotta hold on to it here while I'm trying to get my flask to work. All right, so my temperature already hit 36. No, my temperature went back down. So now here we go. As soon as we hit 36, we can read a new pressure. So we're at 33. You can't see it because of the cord, but it is, trust me, 33. And my pressure is already higher than what it was previously, but that's because we now have a second gas incorporated into it. So we're at 35. And my pressure this time is going to be almost at 36. Now it's going to hit 36. So it's at 36, 110.7. Now we keep going until we hit 46 degrees. So hopefully it won't take that long. I'll pause and we'll come back so the time doesn't wait. All right, so we're at 45 degrees. Let's hope that we get a little bit further than 113. And it goes to about 100, and it looks 14 right there. All right, so that's all the evidence that we needed, that we have Dalton's law of partial pressures added up. We will talk about this in class. Thank you so much. I will talk with you again soon. Bye-bye.